about 5 models. New Sumo, one of the flagship series of Symphony, including double-decker. High flow, Buick series of cooling fans. So this is the product which will be sold around the year. As of now, we are selling only through e-commerce platform. And the uniqueness is it has a detachable pedestal for dual usage on the table as well as floor standing. And down the line, we are also going to come out with other models under the series. So this is the advertisement campaign. So we'll take you through one of the TV commercials. So now coming to new launches in industrial and commercial air coolers. So 7 models under that range. And also we have launched a range of accessories for quick installation and standardization of industrial and commercial air coolers. And these are some of the new client additions in June 22 quarter of industrial air cooling, including big basket, delivery, well-spun, and Hawkins. So far, whatever new range of residential as well as commercial air coolers have been made, many of them have been developed and designed with the R&D help of GSK China. And in fact, in centralized and ducted air cooler, there has been a huge support from China. So now coming to new launches in our subsidiaries. So in climate technology, roof mounted air cooler, which is the flagship range for sale in Australia. Those models have been completely developed in India. Their toolings are ready, and starting from next month, these products will be manufactured in India, and this will completely replace all rooftop models production from Australia to India. So these are about new range, and in addition to this, there is also K series. So meant for sale in the United States by Climate Technology. However, again, these models have been developed and designed by Chinese R&D facility with some inputs from Climate Technology. New launches in Inco, Mexico. HT series air cooler in Mexico. And GSK China, developed locally, household air coolers. So if you may recollect, until 2 years before, GSK had negligible presence in household air coolers, as Munter, from whom we acquired the company, had stopped the production of household air coolers. But we are relaunching and trying to establish in China. So coming to D2C brand. So in the summer of 20, as you may recollect, we had initiated direct sales to consumers from our own website, and it has attained some traction. In fact, in current year, it has attained substantial traffic, and it has been really appreciated by the customers. So I request Devan to take you through some of the features of D2C.
Yeah, hello. D2C was launched as entirely the strategy was to launch a new channel for the convenience of the clients, and the main purpose was to give the sales for around the year, so that we did not wanted to lose out on the spot of the summer in the regions of India. We wanted to cover that as well. So this was one of the ideas behind the D2C as well, and because of the COVID, it has accelerated the this D2C campaign. Now it also gives us the flexibility to generate sales anywhere across the region in India, and the D2C is completely automated from purchase till sale. The entire channel is being completely automated, and there is a minimal human intervention in this. And we have adopted global standard of e-commerce in D2C. Now the launch of it is mostly to iterate the user experience and user interface. So we have completely aligned with the global standard. And this is the quick outlook of the D2C also. Sales can be made seamlessly. So and it has been well categorized across the requirement of the keeping in mind the requirement of the clients. So I'll just quickly show you the website as well. So how it is being. So this is the categories. We have broadly identified the categories as well: household coolers, commercial coolers, industrial coolers, and it is and it, unlike any other e-commerce purchase, it is seamless. So right from clicking on the coolers, you can get the quick overview of the particular cooler. So and purchase is also made very seamlessly. So it's replicating the global e-commerce with sites. Yeah.
So now coming to quarterly financials. So this is about the consolidated sales. During the quarter, we have registered top line of 238 crores versus 162 in June 20. Of course, June 20 itself there was a degrowth, so that's not a correct comparison. And vis-a-vis June 19, which was a normal quarter, 304 versus 238. About EBITDA, it is at 18 crores. And profit before tax is just about 10 crores, and profit after tax is 6 crores. So coming to standalone financials, gross revenue has been 113 crores. EBITDA has been 9 crores, which would have been easily 21-22, even on the same performance, but unfortunately we had to spend large amount on advertisement and sales promotion, and then after there was a second wave, and has generated profit after tax of 7 crores. As far as gross margin percentage is concerned, on a Concall level, it is 43%. Year as a whole, certainly this should improve. Because one, as I said, year as a whole on a standalone India sales, Symphony will register about 50% gross profit margin, and overseas subsidiaries will register better performance down the line. So year as a whole, it should be at least in line with what it was in 18-19 or around that much. And as far as standalone is concerned, it is at about 48%, which we should be back to around 50%. And coming to EBITDA margin, it's about 8% for the quarter on Concall basis, and same is about standalone. And this is the geographical breakup of the sales. So domestic sales during the quarter has been 86 crores, and international sales, which includes exports from India and sales from our subsidiaries, about 144 crores. So the breakup is about 1/3 in India and two-thirds rest of the world. Of course, the rest of the world has to generate good profitability on which we are reasonably confident. But in a year like this, our geographical diversification really seems to be paid in terms of de-risking the business. And it's not only geographical diversification, but also now good part of the sales is coming from southern hemisphere, wherein our winter is that summer. And this is the treasury. So it's about 476 crore versus 392 as on 30th June 20 and about 532 as on June 19. And this excludes our equity investment in subsidiaries as well as loans and advances given to subsidiaries. Yeah, so with this, I open the house for question answer.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Participants connected on web call may ask their question by clicking on the raise hand icon on the toolbar or on the Q&A tab. Participants connected via audio call may enter *1 on their touchtone telephone. When it is your turn to ask a question, an operator will announce your name, unmute your lines so that you can interact with the speakers. We will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Our first question is from Omkar Garade from Shree Investments. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Omkar, your line is unmuted. You may please go ahead.
Yeah, my question was regarding. Hello.
Yeah,
am I audible?
You are.
Yeah. If you look at the last 4 years of the Symphony's performance, it looks like it is no longer a pure play, consistent performer, but more like a cyclical business. So what do you have to comment on that?
No, you are absolutely right. There are no two doubts about it. Unfortunately, last year as well as current quarter have been badly impacted by COVID. In fact, when we had silver lining by way of March 21 performance, wherein for this quarter, vis-a-vis any quarter, we registered the highest ever top line and profitability, but it could not be sustained post 15th of April. And before that, again, there were back-to-back bad summers. But all said and done, in last 4 years, as such, there is no growth. But as I mentioned in the commentary and conveyed in the presentation, we have initiated variety of steps and measures whereby in the medium to long term, despite this, we are reasonably confident to register decent CAGR growth in top line as well as profitability. But of course, my words will
Is the question answered, Omkar?
Hello.
Yes, is the question answered?
Yeah. I have a second question as well.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Wanted to know your thinking on how you are going up and how the upcoming quarters.
breaking. Please carry on.
Yeah. Wanted your view on how you are going to use the treasury you have and how has been the performance so far in the current quarter.
As far as treasury is concerned, we have stated shareholder payout policy whereby we have declared that at least 50% of the PAT will be paid by way of either dividend or by way of share buyback. So that remains. It's possible that in 1 or 2 quarters, it may not be the proportionate payout, but you may recollect that in 1920 the payout was 109%. So we will ensure that if in 1 or 2 quarters, or as it happened in 2021, wherein we deemed it appropriate to be conservative considering the uncertainties, but certainly it will be taken care. As far as use of the treasury in acquisition is concerned, as such in the immediate future, unless there is some compelling opportunity, we don't really intend to have it. And as far as current quarter, that is September quarter performance is concerned, it has begun well, but it's just about 3 weeks of the current quarter. But I gave a broad outlook as to how we are looking at FY21-22 with details.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Nirav Vasa from Anand Rathi. Please accept the prompt on your screen and go ahead.
Hello, sir. Is my voice clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So, sir, my question was pertaining to the debt repayment. If I recollect from my last call, you had stated that the chances were good that the outstanding long-term debt that we are having of around 140 crores might be prepaid or maybe paid. Some part of it might be paid earlier. So I understand that the current situations are quite challenging, but are you still optimistic that this debt can be repaid earlier, or maybe by the end of FY22 we see significant debt reduction? Thank you.
We have already witnessed that reduction in working capital facility of climate technology. To an extent, it has partly taken care from its own operations and cash flow. As far as its long-term debt, which was taken for acquisition, we don't anticipate any major reduction by March 22. What we were expecting and what we had conveyed, we have 5 years to repay. Starting next year, 22-23, we see some ray of hope. And in that respect, whatever is the debt repayment schedule, still at this point of time, we feel that it is feasible. And thirdly, as you may be aware, the objective of raising this debt was not really just meant for acquisition, but number one, Australian dollar has a huge fluctuation. So first and foremost, to take care of currency fluctuation. Secondly, that debt we have raised at the most competitive rate, and that acquisition loan currently is at about all-inclusive cost less than 4%. And even in AAA treasury instruments of Symphony, our average pre-tax return is in excess of 6%. So to that extent, there is an arbitrage. And number three, by raising debt, we are trying to enforce some cash flow discipline at the local level of management, because we wish to ensure that by and large it is taken care from their cash accrual. Otherwise, our treasury is in far excess of the long-term debt taken. It can repay any point of time. And there is no prepayment charges also.
Thank you, sir. My queries have been answered.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhishek Jain from Arihant Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you for taking my question. Sir, can you throw some light on the climate change right now, how the things are shaping up currently, and what is your long-term view on the same? And I've joined the call late, So maybe if you have, I'm sorry if you have been repeating also. Second, how the things are shaping up post-COVID, things are picking up right now on the domestic side of the market. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Can you please repeat first part of your question?
So how the climate change is shaping up the Australian business, if you can throw some light on this thing, Australian and US business. Last quarter we had one order. This quarter, how the things are shaping up, and domestic side post-COVID, how the things are shaping up. Both things, if you can put up some light.
Okay. So as far as climate change impact is concerned, as you may be aware, even in last week of June as well as in beginning of July, there was a heat wave in some parts of the country. And hence, despite significant summer was lost in many pockets of the country, that is in northern India and some parts of western India, the inventory is back to normal end season inventory. And in some parts, in fact, it is a stock out. Secondly, in United States, where we registered the business in excess of 100 crores in FY21, there is a complete stock out, because there also, in some parts, there was a heat wave. As far as Australia is concerned, we are not witnessing any major change, but we are aware that in Europe, we couldn't export much, either from India or from GSK China, because international freight costs have increased substantially, and they also wanted to keep it on hold. But they are repenting, because in many European countries also there is a heat wave, and whatever carry forward stock was, it was stock out long before. So, as it is known, because of climate change, if we really see in the medium to long term, temperature is going to increase, there is going to be a severe summer, and to take care of the seasonality, we have tried to de-risk by way of geographical diversification. Does this answer your question?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Participants connected on web call may ask their question by clicking on the raise hand icon on the toolbar or on the Q&A tab. And participants connected on the audio call may enter *1 to ask their question. We'll take the next question from the line of Saras Singh from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Thank you for taking my question. So earlier you were talking about the inventory. So can we get the overall Indian market sense on the inventory level for Symphony?
Sure. So as of now, inventory is certainly higher than the normal inventory. However, as I said earlier, in some pockets of the country, because of heat wave, their inventory is either normal or there is some stock out. But there are some few pockets. All said and done, the inventory as of now is lower than the inventory which was at the end of June 20, but certainly higher than, say, June 19 or earlier normal year.
All right, sir. That helps. So, secondly, on the trade partners conference, like what are we seeing from the channel partners? After another washout of seasonal demand, what are their sense? Like, how are they coping up with it, and how do we hope to help them out this year?
Sure. So the veteran trade partners are by and large fine. The new trade partners who have joined in recent past, they are quite cautious, and hence I would put it's a mixed bag. But I must say that the kind of hand-holding which Symphony has done and is going to do is far, far better than peers. And hence, despite this growth, the Symphony's market share, even in terms of the secondary sale, is at least in line with the earlier years, or if at all, it might have improved.
Okay, that helps. And lastly, sir, sorry.
Yeah, and I think this is a question of time. Why it's a question of time? Say until November 20, sentiments were relatively low, but starting January, it improved. And since March 21, it improved so dramatically that rather than sales, our complete focus was on operation and production, and that's how it was until middle of April. So, if reasonable normalcy is restored, we don't see any reason why that should not be repeated, not only in the ensuing quarter, but ensuing years also. And we should keep in mind the kind of models which Symphony has launched, that is in many, many models are generation gap. And that really commands the pricing power. And hence we made the statement that at least for domestic sales, our gross profit margin will be back to normal for year as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. And lastly, sir, for the CP revenue and margin, do we have any 22 numbers in like we are looking at right now?
So as I conveyed in my presentation, certainly FY20 we are looking at much better than FY21. And if there are no major hiccups, we are looking FY22 in line with, or if everything goes well, maybe even better than 1920.
All right, that really helps. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and best of luck for the coming quarters.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Varun Patni from Quant Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
You are.
Hello.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So my question was with respect to the advertisement expenditure. So do you have any plans, further doing such expenditure in coming quarters, or is it done for the year?
Any plans?
Advertisement.
Some background noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, advertisement.
No.
Varun, there's a slight background disturbance. So can you please repeat your question?
Is it better now? Hello.
Yes,
Is it better now?
it is.
Yes.
Please
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So my question was with regards to the advertisement expenditure plans for FY22 as a whole.
No, so as such, in off-season quarter, that is until December, barring some nominal amount, no major advertisement and sales promotion is incurred. So mainly it will be in March quarter, and on need base that will be decided. So as of now, we have not prefixed, but it will evolve.
Okay. And so you mentioned about the D2C sales. So what proportion of the quarterly sales was D2C sales? Like what percentage is D2C?
So what I will say that total e-commerce sales registered very robust growth, which includes all kind of e-commerce sales, and that has been in triple-digit percentage.
It has been in?
More than 100%.
Okay. And you mentioned you have got pricing power in some of the new products that you have launched. So if you can tell something more about that, why do we have such pricing power in those products?
No, because as I saw in the presentation, many of those models do have not only unique features and aesthetics, but also unique format and better performance. And for any specific models or range, if you wish to know further, you can contact Deval Shah. He can provide you further details in respect of those aspects.
Okay. Thank you. That's it from us. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manoj Gori from Equirus Securities. Please accept the prompt on your screen and go ahead.
Yeah. Am I audible?
You are.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So basically, if you look at, as per my understanding, what you have guided is roughly around like you're targeting 50% gross margin. So that would be on a consolidated basis, right?
No. 50% gross margin, Manoj, is on a standalone basis. And
right.
In line with normal years, what we used to have, console margin should be in line with last year or it may be better than last year.
Right. Understood. So, sir, the Q4 gross margins, obviously Q4 for subsidiaries is relatively heavier, and accordingly we witnessed sharp expansion in gross margins during Q4 of FY21. So similar trend should be visible during Q4 of FY22 as well.
Absolutely.
Right. And so my last question would be again on the gross margin. So if you look at, you are very confident about strong volumes going forward as compared to last year, and in fact you can surpass FY20 numbers as well. So along with it, you are targeting 50% gross margins as well. So how the industry demand scenario is shaping up, that you are confident about prices getting passed on, and on the other side you expect volumes to pick up as well. Some commentary on that would be very helpful, sir.
Sure. So one, in respect of the new models which have been launched, not only in household but also in multiple range, it has really seen a good traction. In fact, even during bad summer, some of these models were relatively out of stock. Of course, just 2 or 3 models, not many. Number 3, the kind of response and the feedback and the confidence which has been expressed not only internally but also by the trade partners. And number 3, starting 1st July, we have new pricing, and so far in the month of July, that pricing has been accepted well. Secondly, as I conveyed, even in respect of exports, we feel that in current year we should cross the milestone of 100 crore easily in respect of exports, considering overall international demand and some of the visibility what we have. Of course, on exports to our subsidiaries, especially with regard to climate technology, margin will be low, but end-to-end margin will be maintained because substantial margin will be at the level of climate technology. But in the rest of the world, the margin should be maintained. So you may be aware that for last many years we were trying to break that milestone, and that seems feasible in current year.
Right, sir. That was very helpful, sir. Thanks a lot and wish you all the best, sir.
Thank you, and Manoj, good to see you are back in office. And
yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Reminder to participants connected on the web call may ask their question by clicking on the raise hand icon on the toolbar or on the Q&A tab. Participants connected via audio call may enter *1 to join the queue. Our next question is from the line of Ashok Kumar as an individual investor. Please go ahead. Ashok Kumar, please unmute your line and proceed with the question. Ashok Kumar, if you can hear us, can you please unmute your line and go ahead with the question? It seems there's no response from the current participant. We will move to our next question, which is from the line of Hiren Trivedi from Axis Securities. Please go ahead, Hiren.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So two questions. First is on the exports. How much was the contribution of exports for FY21 as a whole? And secondly, my second question is on the commercial air coolers. So if you could help me with the size of the commercial air coolers market and your plans to grow this, and what is your share in that commercial air cooler market?
So as far as exports are concerned, in FY21, it was close to 58 crore. In terms of percentage, it's not really much relevant because here as a whole, otherwise also standalone sales was quite low. So vis-a-vis that, or even in earlier years, our highest ever export was about 63 crore also. So in that respect, as I said, we feel we should achieve in excess of 100 crore. And even in June 21 quarter, our export has been 18 crore, which is probably the highest ever in June quarter. But down the line, especially in December and March quarter, the kind of visibility what we have, we should see really a good traction. Coming to your second part of the question, centralized air cooling. So in centralized air cooling, as such, we don't have substantial sales. As far as the market opportunity is concerned, there is hardly any organized player company operating at a national or international level. And the kind of the product what we have is much, much better in many respects and offering many variants. As far as the size is concerned, it should be easily in excess of 8,000 crore or so, or you can define it slightly differently. Whatever is the size of air conditioner, it should be easily centralized air conditioner. It should be easily in excess of that, because whatever can be cooled by centralized air conditioning, those and many other space can be air cooled by centralized air cooling. In fact, starting July 19, we had started local manufacturing of centralized air cooling. Until then, we used to import from Mexico and China. And coupled with that, we have launched many more suitable models which have been well accepted in India. And on account of that, the benefits are, number one, lead period has reduced substantially. Number two, saving in custom duty. Number three, saving in logistic costs, and much better quality control and domestic handling. So we should have got the benefit of those initiatives starting summer of 20. Unfortunately, on account of COVID, so far we have not been in a position to reap those benefits. But we are substantially trying to improve the capabilities in that respect. And starting current year, it should see some decent number.
Thank you, sir. That was helpful.
Thank you. A reminder to participants, connected on the web call, you may click on the raise hand icon on the toolbar or on the Q&A tab. Participants connected via audio call may enter *1 to join the queue. Ladies and gentlemen, as there are no further questions from the participants, we will now hand the floor back to Mr. Nupesh Shah, Executive Director, for closing comments.
Thank you, Trust Capital, and thank you all the participants.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Trust Financial Consultancy Services Private Limited, thank you very much for your participation. You may now click on Exit Meeting to disconnect. Thank you.